The library always seems cooler than the rest of the building. Probably to keep the books from getting damaged by excessive heat and humidity. Books are sturdy objects, but if you want to keep them in good condition, it takes a little effort. I've got several books that are so well worn the pages are barely clinging to the spine. It seems impossible for them to still be usable, but if you handle them with care. I make my way to the main desk, where I spot Yuko busying herself with something or another. She smiles at me as I enter the class, enter and wave. Hello, Hisao. Good to see you again. What are you looking for this time? Nothing in particular, I guess. I just didn't really feel like going back to my room is all. Yuko nods. Well, if you're not occupied, maybe you could help me look for something. Sure, what do you need? Yuko brings a finger to her lips and looks around furtively. She seems to be looking for eavesdroppers. Come closer. Little closer. No, I'm just kidding now. I take a few hesitant steps forward while feeling distinct. I'm on the trail of the how do you say it? Yamaku cat burglar. Okay, Yamaku cat burglar. The what? Shh! The walls have ears, Hisao. Or they might. But listen, those missing books, remember them? Yeah? Well, they weren't missing. They were stolen. I'm convinced of it. I remember you saying something of the sort earlier, but how do you know? Yeah, spacebar still doesn't work. Yuko leans in closer and, if possible, whispers even lower. Because I found one of his hiding places. You did what now? Yuko looks triumphant. Yes, she does. Found one of his stashes. Oh, not one of those. It was under one of the stairwells in the boys' dorm. 3 books I've been looking for all there. I'd suspected a thief before, but this proves it. So, did you take back the books? Yuko looks at... Oh, yeah, something got stuck in my throat. As if I've... Shut up. As if I've just suggested she walked around naked. Are you nuts? Maybe on ice cream. He can't know I'm onto him. He might go to ground and evade capture. Back away from the crazy lady. So what do you need my help with then? Yuka casts another glance around the library and leans in closer. You've got to spy for me. Spy? Yeah, like when you're in the dorms, you know? Keep an eye out for suspicious activity. What constitutes suspicious activity, anyway? I mean, Kenji's a pretty suspicious dude. I still believe he did it. But I'll wager he barely goes to class, much less sneaks into the library to pilfer books. Still, what's the harm in saying yes? At the least, it'll get me out of this weird conversation. Yeah, I can do that. No problem. Yuko straightens up and claps excitedly. Yay! Great! Now, hurry up and talk about something else, in case someone comes in. How's the school treating you? Pretty well, actually. I've been running in the mornings with Emi Iburazaki, right? Yeah. How'd you know? I served you 2 in the tea house, remember? I deduced that if you were going to run with anyone, it would probably be her. She looks pleased with herself. Impressive. Anyway, yes, we've been running in the mornings. And, we kind of started dating. Yuko claps her hands together excitedly. Yay! Really? That's great. I'll bet you two are great together. I love seeing people find one another like that, you know? I even thought to myself when you walked into the Shanghai that one time, I wonder if that kid will wind up with one of those girls. Really? Yuko doesn't seem to notice my somewhat weirded out tone and nods affirmatively. Yep, I could tell that you'd wind up with one of them, you know? I've got an eye for that sort of thing. Of course. Her expression drops slightly. I'm not so good at it myself. Aw, I'm sure that's not true. Oh, it's true. I met this guy once. He got along really great, but it turned out he was younger than me. And that was kind of weird, but not terrible, so. What was really weird was that he disappeared one day, and I've not seen him since then. Huh? That does seem kind of odd. Doesn't it? I hope it wasn't something I did. I feel compelled to reassure her. I'm sure it wasn't. I intend to try and calm her down further, but the both of us jump in surprise at the ringing suddenly coming from my pocket. Your cell phone sounds like a home phone with an original, not original, like generic ringtone. Yeah, let's go with that. Yuko sighs to steady herself as I pull the phone from my pocket. I feel a little sheepish for indirectly causing the incident. I seriously would love to see him pick up, like, he has one of those, like a TARDIS kind of pocket, and he picks up, like, a house phone from his pocket, just take it from the ringer, be like, hello, instead of it being a cell phone. Emmy? What's up? Oh, thank God I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know if this... Oh, thank God I haven't. Okay. Yeah, that's a grammar error right there. I haven't called your phone before, so I didn't know if this number would work, or whether you would pick up and I can't. Whoa there, Emmy, slow down. What's wrong? There's a pause on the other side of the line, during which I can hear Emmy trying to control her breathing in order to calm her down. Something's got her terribly agitated, and it's starting to agitate me. Can you stop by? Like now, or shortly after now? I really need to talk to you. There's a tone of pleading in the last sentence that I didn't think I've ever heard from her. Of course, I'll be right there. Hold steady, okay? In my increasingly agitated state, I've apparently started saying things that don't quite make sense. Okay, I'll be okay. See you soon. I pressed the button to end the call before slipping the phone back into my pocket. I apologized to Yuko for running off and run off. Perhaps at some point I would have stopped to think at the time, or how suspicious it looks for a guy to enter the girls' dorm at this hour. Except right now I'm just concerned with getting to Emmy and finding out what's wrong and how I can help her. I knock on the door and I am greeted with subdued come in. Something is very wrong as I stare at the scene before me. Emmy's there, yes, but she's in a wheelchair, and her legs are missing. I guess I run around and see them sitting in a corner, looking like they've been thrown there. Emmy responds to my entrance with a lopsided grin that is both pleased to see me and completely, utterly heartbroken. Hi. How did I put her voice again? It's been a while. Hi, so. It looks like she's been crying, but if she was, she stopped now. I notice that I'm a little out of breath, having taken the stairs 2 at the time in order to get here. My heart doesn't seem to mind the strain, though. I file this happy fact away for later consideration. Like when I'm not staring somewhat dumbstruck at my girlfriend in a wheelchair. Realizing I've still not responded to her greeting, my brain lurches into gear. Emmy, what happened? Guess I should have listened to you, Hisao. My leg's got a nasty infection. I'm not allowed to run on it for at least a couple of weeks. She gives a bitter laugh that shouldn't be coming from her. Heh, I can't even walk on it. I could have used a crutch and kept one of my legs, but I didn't see the point. Why hop? You can't run on one leg. At least this way I can still, I don't know, roll fast or something. Yeah, that's good, right? My awkward attempt to look at the bright side seems appreciated, but not really effective. Emmy shrugs again. It's just kind of a nuisance. I mean, we can't even eat up on the roof now. No wheelchair access. Yeah, but that's not a big deal, right? I mean, we can still eat together, and that's the important thing. Lopsided grin again. It hurts to look at.
I suppose so, yeah. But like I said, it's a nuisance. I mean, I haven't really used a wheelchair in...
She thinks for a minute.
Maybe 7 years? Something like that anyway. A long time. I'm afraid I'm a bit out of practice.
Well, fortunately it's only temporary, right? Emmy nods.
Oh yeah, of course. It's not like I've lost him permanently. But it's a pain in the ass all the same.
I nod sympathetically. There's not much else I can do, after all. What am I going to do? Say, I told you so? Although I did tell her to get that leg looked at. By the time I noticed, it was too late anyway. Do you need help with anything? That is, can I help with anything? Emmy shakes her head and there's a bit of her usual grin back.
Nah, I can manage fine by myself. Although, if you want to help me over to my bed, it would save me the trouble of rolling over there myself.
I blush in spite of myself. Emmy giggles.
You're such a prude, Hisao.
I'm not a prude. I'm not a bad. Yeah. I just wouldn't want to take advantage of a young woman such as yourself. It's ungentlemanly. Man, when did this South turn into that? Well, I don't know. I wheel Emmy's chair to her bed and easily scoop her up and deposit her there. She quickly sorts herself out and sits on the side. She's actually a little heavier than she looks. It would be rude of me to observe this aloud, of course. Man, you're kind of heavy. It would be rude of me to do that. Yeah, I still do. I mean, hits me with a pillow.
Ass.
Just saying is all. Must be all that running. At the mention of running, Emmy's grin falters slightly.
Well, I guess I won't have to worry about that for a bit, huh? Maybe I'll lose some weight.
That's what you do to lose weight, right? Cease physical activity?
I'm pretty sure that's what the nurse would recommend.
Speaking of which, are you going to still be showing up in the mornings? I hate to run
Bleep.
Emmy's sudden interjection, more of a disquieted muttering than anything too profane, causes me to look over in shock. Emmy's leaning forward, trying to cover the fact that she's crying, but by covering her eyes with the hand. Of course, that subdued sobbing makes it pretty obvious that she's crying. Hey, I'm sorry. Forget I said anything, okay? I place a hand gingerly around her and pull her close. I can think of nothing else to say or do. How do I comfort someone who's just lost their legs again? Emmy wraps me in a hug and stays that way for a while. I'm sorry. I'm pretty bad at this whole comforting thing, I guess.
Don't say that. I'm fine, really.
Her voice is slightly muffled by my chest. I pat her head reassuringly. That's the spirit, right? You'll get through this fine, I know it. Besides, I'm here to help you, remember? Emmy lifts her head and stares at me with tear-stained eyes.
Can you? Can you really?
She's grinning lopsidedly, and something sparkles in her gaze. I can't tell if I'm being mocked or not. Of course. I mean, sure. You're a bit heavy, but... My witty comment is cut off by a sudden press of Emmy's lips on mine. I'm caught off guard, and rewarded by hitting my head on the wall beside her bed. Ow! Emmy pulls back, trying to look concerned rather than like she's about to laugh.
Are you okay? Sorry.
I roll my head ruefully and grin back at her. Caught me off guard there. Is that going to become a habit? Am I going to be lectured by Shizune and Misha more? At the mention of the duo, Emmy giggles.
Honestly, those two. If I didn't know why, I'd be utterly confused as to why she's hanging around with someone so bossy.
Which one are you talking about?
You know exactly which one is out. Misha's hardly bossy.
So what's the reason then?
Huh?
Reason why Misha hangs around Shizune. Emmy waves my question off with a smile.
No idea. I have no idea.
I see.
Anyway, you seem to be forgetting the original question, don't you?
Oh yeah, I guess I am. You wouldn't mind giving a guy a little warning, would you? Otherwise, I'm liable to wind up with a concussion. I emphasize the point by rubbing at the back of my head. Emmy giggles madly.
You could wear a helmet. Some kids here do, you know.
Or I could just take revenge. I grab a pillow from beside me and whack it me over the head. Emmy tumbles off the bed and lands on the floor with a thump. Her arms promptly reappear on the bed and she manages to pull herself back up. She really has a surprising amount of strength in that little body. Her face is turned downward and away from mine, making me think I might have accidentally hurt her. Emmy, you okay? You didn't get... A hand shoots up and grabs my collar. She pulls me in with a sharp tug. Her face now barely an inch away from mine, and she grins cheekily. Emmy? She gives me a sharp headbutt, our foreheads making quite a loud thud. I sit back and rub my now sore head as Emmy smirks victoriously.
How's that for revenge?
No fair! You can't take revenge for revenge! For someone missing most of her legs, Emmy's surprisingly agile. I swipe at her, but she deftly rolls out of the way and lands a hit with her pillow. Of course, the odds are against her. I could stand up for starters.
Oof.